Commissioner Wesley,
Here.
Commissioner Jordan,
Here.
Commissioner Jewell,
Here.
Commissioner Ryan,
Here.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins, Commissioner Cook Hawkins, and I'm sorry, I'm missing my list here. Who am I missing?
Commissioner Blower.
Sorry, Commissioner Blower. Commissioner Blower,
She should be.
I don't see that she's joined yet.
Okay. Well, we have a quorum. Any additions or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairperson, this is Commissioner Jewell.
Yes.
There are a number of items. First, per our discussion and recommendation from our last meeting, we'd like to move SPR 20-935, which is a site plan review, to after PC 20-380, which is the public hearing. Those are both correlated, and per our discussion last week, it was recommended we hold the public hearing first and then review the site plan afterwards. So that's one item. Second item is under old business. We'd like to add bylaws committee update and also planning commissioner member binder, BINDR, or notebook. And then the third item, Mr. Chair, as I shared with you earlier this morning, there are a couple of questions I have regarding the materials when we come to the public hearing. So prior to opening that or just after you open that, I'd like to raise those questions just for clarification.
Okay. When we go to the public hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
Just some informational questions for clarification.
Okay. Any other additions or corrections to the agenda? Any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make a motion for adoption with the additions and changes.
Support.
It's moved and properly supported. Kelly, I think that was Commissioner
Campbell.
Campbell who supported.
Got it.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Abstentions, it seems. Okay. The agenda has been adopted.
I just want to announce for the record that it looks like Commissioner Cook Hawkins has joined. Is that correct?
Hi, good evening. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Very good. Minutes of the previous meeting, minutes of August 25, 2020. I have received a text from Mr. Vandercook saying that the minutes are not completed at this time and asked that the minutes of August 25th, 2020 be adjourned until our next regularly scheduled meeting. Could the chair, in the discussion, chair will entertain a motion to adjourn those minutes of August 25th, 2020 to our next regularly scheduled meeting?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Jewell. I'll make the motion to adjourn those to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which I think is September the 15th. No, I stand corrected. September the 22nd.
Right.
This is Commissioner Jordan. I'll support the motion.
So moved and properly second. All in favor, so by saying aye.
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 Opposers have the same right. Appears unanimous. The public forum. The public is invited to take part on anything appearing on our agenda this evening. If there's anyone wishing to join this meeting virtually in the public, you can do so at this time. Is there anyone in the public wishing to address this commission? Anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? Anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? Casey, is there anyone on the line that you can see that's might be from the public?
No, it doesn't seem so.
We did receive 2 letters, Chairman Wesley,
Okay,
and they don't look like they're connected to the site plan review. Is this the appropriate time to read those 2 letters?
was one of the letters from a Mrs. Sorensen? Or what are they?
One letter was from a Dr. Monique Tate, from the Coosa Nation of North America.
Okay,
And the other letter is from I'm sorry, it is from, oh, you said Sorensen. I think you mean Swanson from a Miss.
Swanson, I'm sorry, Kelly
Swanson.
Swanson.
Yes, and the other letter is from a Miss Kelly Swanson.
Okay, the one from Mrs. Swanson, I've contacted the appropriate person involved with that. And we've been missing each other on phone calls. And I don't know if that one don't necessarily have to be read over the air. I would take that from the Indian Nation, or if you want to read that, but I think she spoke publicly at our last meeting.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
When
Okay.
is that? This is Kelly Thompson. Suzanne, when is that letter dated, if I could ask?
September 7th of, which one? I'm sorry, the one
From the Coosa Nation.
September 7th of 2020.
Okay. And Chairman Wesley, I would, it's up to you, but she did speak at our last meeting, but since that letter is dated yesterday,
Oh, yesterday.
that might be, she
Oh,
might have a
okay.
different comment to make.
Okay, we can read that one. Because the one from Mrs. is it Swanson?
Yep,
No.
Swanson.
That one is dated before our last meeting. At our last meeting. It came in, I think, of our last meeting late that evening, as I believe.
Yeah, I think there was some confusion about the email she sent it to.
Yeah, and I got that, and I'm working on that one now. But the one that was dated on the 7th, we can read that one into the record, if you please.
Okay. Greetings, Chairman Wesley. I am Dr. Monique Y. Tate, Principal Chiefess Sahani Ugidali of Coosa Nation of North America, USA. As clan mothers of our nation, we are reaching out to you and your office on behalf of our kinship, Mr. Ray Hall, 2 White Arrows, who serves as a representative in the state of Michigan. I had the pleasure of attending the August 25th Commissioners' telemeeting by request of Mr. Hall. We are happy to support Mr. Hall's efforts in sharing our American Indian housing proposal and family preservation plan with the Commission as outreach to facilitate safe passage and right of return for our people across the country. Thank you in advance for your assistance in upholding universal human rights in the state of Michigan that ensures, quote, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care and necessary social services, and the right to security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood and circumstances beyond his control. And motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance, Article 25. Respectfully submitted, Chiefess Sahani Ugidali - Dr. Monique Y. Tate and Chiefess Soraya Ota Dabun, Chiefess of Justice.
Okay,
And that is the extent of the letter.
thank you. And I'm glad you had to read it and not me. Because I think I did some not so justice to the names. Are there anyone else or anything else for the public forum? Anyone in the public wishing to address the commission? Anyone else wishing to address the commission? That portion of the public hearing is now closed. Next item on our agenda be the public hearing. PC 20380, Clark Commons. Before we call for the applicant, Commissioner Jewell, I understand you had some informational questions that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, just a couple of clarifications in the pack that I received. I'm looking at the application to us for a conditional use. And I noticed on the top, usually on the right-hand side, there's a box regarding documentation on date received and case number for planning commission, date number, and the meeting date, and none of that was filled in. Suzanne, would you know when this application was received?
I'm looking at the site plan review in front of me. I'm sorry. And I see for case number SPR 2-20-935, a date received of 7/22/2020.
No, that's the site plan review.
I'm sorry, you're talking.
I'm talking about the public hearing PC 20-380, which is seeking conditional use.
This is Kristen. I can speak to the date received,
Okay,
if I may.
sure.
Yeah, we received the application for the conditional use on August 6th.
Okay, August 6th, 2020. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that for the, and the other question, Mr. Chairperson, and maybe Suzanne could make reference to this regarding the public hearing. I did go through the information submitted. There was some background stuff that was also attached regarding the site plan. However, there was no commentary or staff report or recommendations regarding the public hearing application.
As I understand it, that they're using the same information from the first. This is they're using the same information that was in the last packet for this application, because I think it's the same. Am I correct?
That's
Well,
correct.
there's two. Okay, but this is a public hearing for conditional use. The other was for the other, which we're going to review after this, is for the site plan, the actual physical facilities. And I couldn't find in the documentation for the public hearing any staff report. I know there was staff input regarding the site plan, but I was looking for commentary from staff regarding issues or concerns regarding the appropriateness of the conditional use, which is different than the actual physical facilities.
Was there a checklist? I think that Commissioner Wesley is right. I don't see I don't see a checklist or a staff report for the conditional use. Was there a staff report prepared for that, Casey or Kristen?
Yeah. Not for tonight's meeting, but I think it was in the August 25th. Is that right, KZ?
Okay, and I do have, for the August 25th, there was background information provided. There was a checklist. And then for this evening, under the site plan review, there was updated information from the applicant as well as the checklist.
Right, but you're looking at the, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, there is an overview that is provided for tonight's meeting that was part of your packet. There is no staff report for tonight. The staff report that was provided was for the site plan review as you've identified. There is not a staff report for the, as far as I see in my information, there is not a staff report for actually the conditional use. I do not see that.
Okay. Mr. Chair, when we go through the public hearing and when we get to the section about for us as commissioners to review and discuss, if I have any questions at that point, I can raise them then. I just wanted to double check.
Okay. Now, is the applicant present?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about Clark Commons.
Sure. So, as we've discussed in previous meetings, Clark Commons, this is for phase 3. It's the third phase of the Clark Commons project, which is located.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
You didn't identify.
could we just have? Yes.
Okay. Could you identify yourself, please?
Yes, this is Adam Coppersmith with Fusco, Schaefer, and Pappas, the architect for North Star Development for the Clark Commons project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Adam.
Sure. So this is the Clark Commons project. It is a residential development of townhomes and a single apartment building that is being proposed to be built west of Saginaw and east of Martin Luther King. The conditional use that we're requesting is for the building of 5 4-unit buildings in a B use group. It's an allowed use, but it does need conditional approval to build those buildings on the sites. Some of the reasons that we're proposing a 4-unit building versus additional 2-unit buildings or breaking those buildings up into smaller individual is that it allows for larger expanses of green space. Because the individual buildings would break up the sites, the buildings allow for larger areas of green space that are single spaces or areas, and the buildings themselves are buildings that maintain similar scale to those of the surrounding area. While they are 4 units, their heights and overall depths of the building and their architecture are similar to those of the surrounding area.
Okay. Questions from the commission to the applicant?
This is Commissioner Jordan.
Yeah.
I appreciated that overview, and I wondered if you could just speak a little bit to the consistency with the future land use of that area. I understand that under the current zoning guidelines that it requires a conditional use in the application didn't specifically see it referenced how you saw it fitting in with the future land use, and I wondered if you could speak to that, please.
So I guess in general, the surrounding area is primarily all residential use and single family homes. And so the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of these projects of Clark Commons are all townhouse buildings ranging anywhere from 2 units up to 6 units in the first phase. And so this is in keeping with those other buildings in the area. These would be, these sites are located the furthest north of the 3 phases, but they are keeping with the other buildings of the project.
What does that mean?
I guess just, this is Commissioner Jordan again. Just to clarify, when I was talking about the future land use, I was speaking not so much in the context of the other phases of Clark Commons, but more so that the city of Flint, we adopted a master plan a few years ago. As part of that, there was a future land use plan. The city's in the process right now of hopefully maybe updating its zoning code and whatnot to reflect that future land use. And so I wondered if you could speak to the compatibility of kind of this duplex style housing for what the future land type is for that area.
Myself was not aware that there was a future land use for that area. Familiar with the current zoning, and so we were looking to develop in respect to what's there currently.
I guess that really speaks to trying to get this ordinance passed. So we're gonna have to deal with dual, that type of confusion. Kristen, you was gonna say something?
This is actually Christina Higgins with North Star. Sorry, it took me a second to get off mute. If I may, and I don't know if this contributes very much, but I know that you guys are familiar with the project, and you know, the city of Flint is a partner. And with every phase, you know, we've worked with the planning department on the types of buildings that we're including, the whereabouts of the buildings. So just speaking to the master plan and, you know, where this comes from, this is a direct result of the master plan and the South Flint Community Plan. So I would think that it's in line with the future proposed land use, though I would think that the planning department could probably speak directly to that better, as I am not completely comfortable or familiar with the proposed future zoning of the area. But we have, you know, developed each phase of Clark Commons in line with the city as we are the developer for the Choice project.
Well, this is Commissioner Jordan again, and I wasn't trying to ask a sort of question. I've got the future land use map up myself, and it, from my eyeballing it, it seemed like that this project kind of sat at the nexus of a few different types, and you know, from what I can tell, it looks roughly that, you know, some of it is maybe MR1, which is a mixed residential, which would seem to fit with the idea of a duplex. Some of it, depending on what side of your street on, might be deemed a traditional neighborhood or a green neighborhood. So it was more, you know, not raising it as an objection, but just trying to make sure that the question was asked and that we, you know, had some awareness about it.
Sure.
Very good. Very good.
Mr. Chair, this
Yes.
is Commissioner Jewell. On the same line, this may be where my question might raise, which was similar to staff review. And I appreciate the efforts that Commissioner Jordan raised. I think it may be appropriate if Suzanne could address from the staff's perspective of the tie-in to this project to our future. if that's appropriate.
I think it's a little tough because of the fact that the actual zoning code has not been adopted. And so that is the struggle that projects have when we are trying to bring something forward under the existing zoning code, and we have a proposed draft zoning code. Generally, as
Right.
Commissioner Jordan referenced, there are some different land use types proposed in this area. MR1 is one, green neighborhood is another. The vision for this is really infill for all of the vacancy. And so when we talk about duplexes and townhomes, we do believe that it is consistent with the future land use plan, but we are not actually analyzing it under that because we don't have that zoning code adopted yet. So we really look at it under the current zoning code, but we do believe that the project as proposed is consistent with the vision for that area extending downtown, looking at reduced setbacks, looking at mixed residential housing, doing infill housing in that neighborhood. It's also adjacent to city corridors. So there's, some development that's proposed along there, and that's why we're doing the apartment buildings along Saginaw, proposing for mixed neighborhood as transitional housing. So we do believe that it is consistent with the future land use for the area, but because we don't have that zoning code adopted, we're trying to, remain consistent with the existing land use. And I believe the project does really meet both efforts.
Well, thank you ever so much, Suzanne, because that was similar thoughts and concerns that I had, and I appreciate you reinforcing the insight to those. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the commission to the applicant?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Wesley.
Yes.
I just have one question because I understood that there was an agenda change, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep track for Bill. But I thought that we were having the public hearing first. I thought Commissioner Jewell moved to have the public hearing first and then the site plan.
Yes, this is the
Correct.
public hearing.
So this is the public hearing right now.
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Wesley.
Yes.
This is Commissioner Sorensen. I am the newest member of the board here, and I don't have the history with this, the first and second phase, and just coming on for the third phase. And I'm just wondering, is there a general management office that's going to address any tenant issues or repairs or rent collecting, or how's that going to be handled?
This is, if I may, sorry.
Go ahead.
This is Christina Higgins with North Star. We will have an on-site property manager. They actually are going to be, their office is starting with phase 1, which their office is going to be there in the next several months as Clark Commons phase 1 turns over. So there will be on-site management. The manager is Premier Property Management. They're local. They manage several hundred units for North Star in Detroit, and they also manage several properties already in Flint. They're really wonderful. They have a really good track record. So they will be the on-site manager. So any tenants that have issues, they are right there to help them out with anything. And we're really committed to being a good neighbor to you all. Just, I wanted to say that. And our property manager is just wonderful. We really trust them. So we think it'll be great.
So there will be an office in that area?
Correct.
Okay. Are all these units going to be rent? I'm sorry, Commissioner Sorensen?
Go ahead.
Are all these properties going to be for, to the applicant? Are all these properties going to be rental properties, or are like the 4-bedroom townhouses going to be for sale, or how's that going to work? Is it all? all rental?
They're all rental, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission to the applicant?
I just want to add one thing. I'm sorry, they are all rental, but, and I know this has been said before, but it is a combination of different housing types. So it's mixed income. So there's some affordable housing, there's public housing, and there's market rate residential housing. So even though they are rental, I just wanted to acknowledge that there are 3 different types of mixed income housing.
Okay. Other questions from commission to the applicant? Okay, so at this time, I'll open up to the public. Is there anyone in the public wishing to oppose PC 20380 Clark Commons, North Star Development, request for a conditional use for 5 4-unit and 1 3-unit multifamily residential building as part of the community development project in a B district. And I'm not going to go through and read all the numbers here because at some point I know I'm going to get confused. Is there anyone wishing to oppose? Anyone wishing to oppose? Anyone wishing to oppose? That portion of the public hearing is now closed. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of PC 20308 Clark Commons, North Star Development, request for a conditional use for 5 4-unit and 1 3-unit multifamily residential building as part of a community development project in a building district, in a B district, I'm sorry, in a B district. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? That portion of the public hearing. KZ, have we received any written, or Suzanne, any written communications for either to oppose or speak in favor of this?
No, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Wesley, this is Kelly Thompson.
Yes, Kelly.
I just wanted to note for the record that we had a number of comments at the last meeting, and that was in the context of this particular public comment, PC 20-380. So I just wanted to make note and refer to those comments from the last meeting.
Those comments will be made part of the records, as that was from the Indian nation. And one lady, I think, wanted to know, like, the design.
Yeah, there were a couple of individuals, and I believe their daughters spoke on their behalf.
Right.
My notes from last week, Edna Cheney and Josephine Jones. They had just questions, general inquiries about the project. And then the 2 comments from the Coosa Nation.
Coosa Nations. Those will be made part of the record. Mr. Jewell, you're going to add your usual?
You already
request?
did.
Oh,
You already did. You asked if there was any other communications, and Suzanne noted that there were not.
okay, very good. So that public hearing is now closed. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jordan. I would move approval of PC 20-380 Clark Commons, requesting a conditional use for 5 4-unit and 1 3-unit multifamily residential buildings as part of a community development project in a B district, with all of those parcel numbers from the agenda noted. With the findings that per the testimony of the architect, the design of the buildings is in keeping with the current residential character, and noting the appropriateness of the infill development strategy to enhance the existing residential character of that, and that it is in keeping with the letter of the current zoning code and the spirit of the future land use plan.
Very good. Do I hear support for the motion?
This is Commissioner Jewell. I will support that motion.
It's been moved and properly supported that PC 20380 Clark Commons, North Star Development, request for a conditional use for 4 units and 1 3-unit multifamily residential building as part of the community development project in a B district, in that it's in keeping with our current, the character of our current residential zoning and the spirit of our future residential zoning. Roll.
Commissioner Campbell,
Yes, approve.
Commissioner Wesley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
yes,
Commissioner Cook Hawkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Blauer. I don't believe she's joined us.
No.
Okay. The vote is 7 yes and 1 absent.
Did we get Commissioner Sorensen?
She said yes.
Okay, all righty. To the applicant, your item has been approved. So we go to case review.
Mr. Chair, we now address the site plan review.
But you got case review in the middle of that. Okay.
Yeah, I guess we jumped over that, Mr. Chair.
Well, actually, we didn't jump over it, but okay, we'll do site plan review and then do case review after that. Site plan review is SPR 20935 Clark Commons, North Star Development request a site plan review of Clark Commons Phase 3 located at the scattered site within the boundaries of Mary Street, Louisa Street, Saginaw Street, and Martin Luther King Ave. Is the applicant present?
Yes, this is Adam Coppersmith again with Busco, Schaefer, and Pappas, architects for North Star Development.
Okay, Adam, tell us about this site plan review. And I think we get some corrections in there from our last meeting.
Right. Correct. So again, this is Clark Commons Phase 3 apartments and townhomes. As mentioned initially that this is a project that is west of Saginaw and east of Martin Luther King, and then south of Mary, north of Louisa. This phase of the project includes an apartment building of 24 units, and then townhouses that include 4, 3, 2, and 1 bedroom units. The project the townhomes, there are 73 of those. One of the concerns that was brought up in the previous Planning Commission meeting was that some of the sites were exceeding the coverage allowance on the different sites. And after further review, it was determined that we had actually incorrectly done the coverage numbers. The coverage for all of the sites is less than the required, and that initially the coverage was calculated by using the total building square footage instead of just the building footprint, which would be only the first story of the building. It was including the second stories of those buildings. So our coverage does meet and is less than all of than the zoning requirements currently. And I believe that was of concern last time.
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Mr.
yeah,
Jewell.
Commissioner Jewell. And if I remember correctly, there was a question regarding the setbacks, but as presented at our last meeting, that was addressed by the ZBA, and that was also included in the packet that we received with the corrected calculations.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Are there any questions from the commission to the applicant concerning this site plan review? I think in our packet, it gave a detailed report dealing with the setbacks and the miscalculations, and also pointed out that there were some other calculational errors that was part of that site plan review. So commissioners, are there any questions that you have of Mr. Coppersmith? I'm hearing no questions. That means that we either got thoroughly confused or we understand this quite well. Okay.
Commissioner Jordan, I think I had raised the question in the last meeting around the calculation with the lot coverage. So the explanation provided in the packet made absolute sense. Glad to have it corrected. I didn't have any further questions about the materials.
Very good. Hearing no questions, what is the desire of the commission?
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Jordan again. I would move approval of SPR 20-935, Clark Commons requesting a site plan for Clark Commons Phase 3, located at scattered sites within the boundaries of Mary Street, Louisa Street, Saginaw Street, and Martin Luther King Avenue, with the parcel list attached to our meeting packet.
Do I have a support?
Mr. Chair.
I think, was that Leora Campbell?
I think it was Mr. Ryan.
That was Commissioner Ryan.
As you supported that, Commissioner Ryan? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. It's been properly moved and supported by Commissioner Ryan. Before, and we'll move it to discussion. In our packet that we received, just one comment, no, that's why I want to pick this out. In our packet, go down to the bottom of the first page where it says PC Planning Commission has been moved and properly supported. It talks about the motion. It's the second paragraph from the bottom. Can anybody tell me who Mr. Joe is?
I have to tell you, Commissioner Wesley, this is Kristen Stevenson. Since the minutes weren't done, we were kind of just copying from the service that automatically translates, and it was difficult to make out some of the words. So apologies. I'm not sure if that's a direct quote.
I don't know, but as I was reading, I said, well, who is Mr. Joe?
Maybe it was Mr. Chair. I think maybe it was Mr. Chair supposed to be.
Okay.
I feel like it's either Mr. Chair or Commissioner Jordan. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Anyway. Anyway, any other further discussion? Hearing none, roll.
Commissioner
What's the-
Campbell,
Yes, approval.
Commissioner Wesley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan,
Yes.
Commissioner Jewell,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook Hawkins.
Yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Blauer is absent. The vote is 7 yes.
Okay.
1 absent.
To the applicant, your site plan has been approved. And thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate your guys'
Thank
time.
you very much.
Mhm.
Thanks a lot.
Next item on our agenda is case review. Any case reviews?
I don't believe we have any case reviews on the agenda tonight. You were confusing me earlier, but I don't believe there are any on the agenda.
Well, okay. It's not just have to call for it. And you have to tell me there are none, so good. Next item is reports to Attorney Kelly Thompson, status of the permanent marijuana ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Callie Thompson. I am working with Calfani Stevens and Councilman Mays to move the proposed ordinance along through council. So that is in the works, and I will update you again at the next meeting, but I think we should see some progress here in the next few days.
Okay. Any questions to Attorney Thompson? Okay. Next item, status of the draft zoning ordinance and capital improvement plan. Suzanne.
No updates. The draft zoning ordinance, as we've talked many times, we're really kind of following the same schedule as the the permanent marijuana ordinance. So our goal is still to, as soon as that permanent marijuana ordinance is adopted, we will be bringing the proposed zoning ordinance to council. We have been getting a lot of pressure from council people to bring it forward. And just to remind you, that was actually their request that they complete the marijuana action first and adopt the marijuana ordinance. So we've been following kind of that guideline. If we do continue to get, a number of requests for the zoning ordinance, then we will discuss again whether it makes sense to discuss both the marijuana ordinance and the zoning code at the same time. We generally don't think that that's a great idea, especially right now, given the way council is meeting. But there is some significant pressure coming from some council people that want to see the zoning code, which we do too. However, they haven't discussed the marijuana ordinance yet. And I believe that both of those are heavy lifts for both planning and development and the law department. So we would prefer that they complete one action before we bring the other action forward. So we're still continuing on that path. Any questions on that, or do you have a preference on that? Some thoughts on that? I guess, we're taking guidance from City Council, but are there thoughts from the Planning Commission on what you would like to see happen with that?
Commissioners, what's your thoughts on it?
This is Commissioner Jewell. From my perspective, we need to have both of them addressed. It's been a number of weeks and months, and we've already made our recommendations, and it seems that council needs to take a look at how they want to respond to that.
Okay.
Okay, in the capital improvement plan, I have no update on that. I did have a brief conversation with Eric Scorsoni, and we talked about the capital improvement plan for the upcoming year. The budget process is actually starting right now. So I have gone back to the last approved capital improvement plan, and I'm sending that to him, and it may make sense to just provide, I haven't been able to pull out a specific section in the current budget that talks about capital improvements, but it may make sense just to adopt that and then move forward with the new budget year with a more comprehensive capital improvement plan. And so I'm working on that right now to try and present to the finance department some things that I know were actually proposed this year that were not included in the capital improvement plan, so that next year's is more complete. And we're moving on that right now.
Okay. Any questions from the commission to Ms. Wilcott? Okay. Next, Suzanne, is this update on the status of staffing?
I just had a conversation actually today with the purchasing director, and so we are moving forward on the consultant. I expect to have a contract finalized tomorrow. I think I told you last time the selected consultant is Rowe Incorporated. Expect to have a contract routed tomorrow and hopefully have them working within the next 2 weeks or so. And we are we're moving forward with that. I don't have any updates on. I had a lengthy conversation with HR today on filling the positions, and we're trying to identify some additional methods that we can recruit. I know our chief of staff is reaching out to some of his contacts. I've looked at applications that we've received, and unfortunately we're still not receiving applications that actually meet all the MERs. So we're revisiting that, and HR is going to help us. I think Brian's going to help us do some more active recruitment for both the lead planner and the zoning coordinator. So I'm hopeful there, but meanwhile, we expect the zoning consultant firm to be on board within the next couple weeks. I do have one more position, unfortunately, that is becoming vacant effective Friday, and that is one of our planner ones who actually handles our parks, is leaving to pursue her master's degree. So we are going to have another vacancy in planning. So it's critical. The situation is really urgent right now that we get some of these positions filled because we will have another one open. For that one, it's an entry-level position, so I'm a little bit more confident that we have some people that will be able to apply for that position and potentially are interested in it, and that it will be filled more quickly than the other two. But I just want to let you know, because they are all connected to planning, and unfortunately, we have some significant vacancies.
Rowe, is that?
I'm sorry, I should say that position has been posted. The planner one has already been posted. So we learned a week or so ago that she would be leaving, and HR has already posted it for us. And like I said, we talked today, and we're going to try and do some creative outreach to get some people to apply for all 3 positions. I just wanted to let you know that was posted, and they're helping us move on it.
With Rowe, would that be Doug Pickett?
Doug Pickett is one of the, he's one of the identified staff. Also, the person that is probably the key person in this is Corey Christensen. So you guys know Corey, and we're excited about that because he has obviously significant expertise in marijuana, the marijuana ordinance, and zoning. So we feel pretty good that we'd have someone who can come in and not only hit the ground running, but also be able to train existing staff and help organize some of the work that really needs to be kind of put in some order. So yeah, it's a few different staff from Rowe, but Doug Piggott is one, and Corey Christensen is
Corey, yeah. Okay, very good. Are there any other questions from the commissioners to Mr. Wilcott? Okay, hearing none. Any resolutions?
No resolutions.
Okay, moving on to old business. Marijuana relicensure policy routing sheets. We are with that.
Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Suzanne can speak to this too. We've been using the routing sheet, and I think there's a bit of a learning curve in implementing it and getting everybody using it routinely and comfortable with it. So, but we have implemented that, and I think that given some time, it'll work more smoothly once everybody's familiar with it.
I'll just add, I think it's an excellent system. I think that once it's actually fully utilized, we agreed for some of the applicants who were already in the process of relicensure that we would not require the form. So we're kind of in a transitional period where there's a couple applicants that are using a portion of it, and because they already, and not all of it, because they already had some of their reviews done. So once these, there's really 3 that are kind of in process right now. Once these 3 are done, then everybody will be utilizing the routing sheet. And I think it's excellent. I think it's going to work really fantastic to put that responsibility on the applicants to get that information and then compile it and submit it to us. So I really appreciate Kelly's work on it. She did a great job. And once it's fully utilized, I think it's going to be a great tracking system for us. And I will say that we have actually awarded 1 relicense. So 1 has been done, and then the second one I just received today. So we will issue or approve our second relicense tomorrow. And then we have 1 more that is still kind of figuring out what documentation they need to get. So within the next few weeks or so, we will have issued 3 licenses. And then we're also working on having kind of that tickler system where we can send out notifications to facilities that need to relicense well in advance of their license expiration, so that we hopefully avoid this in the future.
Okay. Status of the commission membership roster.
I reached out to Inez and the clerk's office and received a response back from them that they will provide us with the information. There's really just a couple blanks that need to be completed, that they will provide us with that information as soon as they can. They are working on it, and they're obviously overwhelmed a little right now with the work that they're doing. But she said, I did talk to her, and she said she will provide it to us as quickly as possible. And I also talked to her about the vacancies, and she was going to reach out to the council members, and I sent an email as well to those council members who have some planning commission positions are vacant, some of ZBA, some of HDC, and they are, Inez is reaching out to the council members directly, and I sent an email, and so hopefully we can get some of those resolutions moving too, for, I know some of your positions are expired, so we can get them approved again. So that is moving forward, and as soon as I get that from Inez, I will update. She has all the blank forms. She knows where the blanks are, and she's going to get it to us as quickly as she can.
Okay. Bylaw committee update.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Kelly Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on completing the bylaws, and I'm committing now to have them to you in advance of the next meeting. So you have time to look at them, and we can discuss it at the next meeting. And I did resolve one of the questions we had from the last meeting regarding vacating office upon the expiration of a planning commission member's term. And I found Reed's memo, Reed Erickson's memo, when the new charter was adopted. So that analysis, it referenced the Planning Enabling Act, which I think Commissioner Jordan cited to at the last meeting. So ultimately, what was in the draft bylaws last time is incorrect, and
Right.
the understanding of the commissioners was correct. So members hold their seat until a replacement is appointed. So that particular issue has been resolved. And like I said, I will have the bylaws, the final draft in track changes to the commission in advance of the next meeting.
Very good. Commissioner Jewell, you do have something that you wanted to add?
No, that was, Kelly and I chatted. I was just looking for a status update.
Okay.
And she is to be complimented for her perseverance.
Thank you. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get it to you. It's just, there's a lot of work to be done.
That is so true. It's not an easy task. Any new business?
There was one more item that Commissioner Jewell added regarding the PC binder.
Oh, okay. Where's my note on that? Okay, what is the PC binder?
That was the, I'm
oh,
sorry,
okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry, Commissioner Jewell.
No, go ahead, Suzanne.
Commissioners, you had requested a binder for all of the commissioners that basically provided kind of an orientation packet.
Correct.
And then Commissioner Jordan had provided a list to, after a meeting that we had, a list to us of the items that made sense to be in that binder. And then we also talked about ordering orientation materials from the Michigan Association of Planning, and then in a way to make the binder a little bit less, I think, onerous to put together, like starting from the point of the map, kind of information, and then adding this other information. So Bill and I have talked, and we have identified funding, and he is ordering some materials from the Michigan Association of Planning. And I think we have kind of an outline or a checklist of all the documents that will be in there right now, thanks to Commissioner Jordan. And so we are moving forward with that. He hasn't had a lot of time to focus on it over the last week or so, but when he gets back, he is out of the office this week. When he gets back next week, that is something that is on our list to prioritize and start putting this binder together. I will share the checklist, the kind of outline of the documents that will be included. It's basically the list that Commissioner Jordan sent to us with the addition of some map materials. I'll share that with you before the next meeting. You guys can review it, and by that time we should have ordered that information and be able to start putting it together.
Okay. Sounds great. Go ahead.
Credit to Commissioner Jewell, because I know that he contributed to a lot of those materials in that list. So sharing credit here.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Both Commissioner Jordan and Commissioner Jewell provided information.
Fantastic.
It's very helpful.
Okay, is there anything else? Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion. I think we went through this rather briefly and thorough. The chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn the meeting. This is Commissioner Ryan.
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. That was Commissioner Campbell. Hey, thanks everybody for joining, and stay safe. I'll be glad we can meet in person again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you.